just right on into our next speaker because we are at the top of the hour and everything just seems to be flowing together today. So we're just going to jump right to it. Next up, we have Karrie Larson. She's going to be speaking about mindset and finding new perspectives. If you are finding it challenging to be intentional with your work and life due to distractions and growing to-do lists grabbing your attention, then Karrie has the perfect tool for you. Karrie will teach you the fine art of intentional writing to help you discover new internal perspectives, find your voice, and release pent-up thoughts, feelings that negatively impact your mindset and results. Karrie is a California-born, Wisconsin-raised multi-hyphenate living in San Francisco. After her involvement with pro NBA, NFL dance, including 4 pro years with the Timberwolves and Golden State Warriors and 5+ years coaching dancers to their full potential, she retired that life to start her own mental wellness company, Serving Sundays. Karrie feels called to help people find their authentic spark through wellness retreats and experiences that help you dive deeper into your everyday thoughts, enhance your relationship with yourself, and build an intentional community and life as a result. Meditation, sound healing, breath work, guest speakers, yoga stretch, guided writing, and virtual workshops are a few of the modalities Serving Sundays utilizes. It is my absolute pleasure to welcome to the stage Karrie Larson.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for having me. And yeah, you beat me to the introduction. I'm super, super grateful to be here and, just join everyone. I know I'm sort of at the end of the day, but mostly what we'll be doing today, it's not actually super presentation style. It's going to be more led with you and journaling. So we're going to do some intentional writing together and have some engaging prompts. So right now, I'm going to give you like 30 seconds. Just get your journal ready, get it together. If you don't have a journal, you can also use a piece of paper. You can use your phone. I would try to steer away from that if you can, because physically writing really taps into a different side of our brain. So I'll give you like 30 seconds while I am also pulling up my slides for today. And we're also going to do a little meditation because I am a big fan of dropping into the writing space together. So yes, mindset is really about finding new perspectives, and writing is a really great tool. What I will say is that we don't always find the time to write, right? We all have like this huge to-do list all the time. I feel it myself. And so I really wanted to just offer the time today to write together, as well as reflecting together on what we've learned. So in terms of kind of what I would say to expect, feel free to be present. Turn off your phone for a second. I know it's really easy for us to pick that phone up or multitask, do other things. I know myself, sometimes doodling or coloring or taking notes or just chillaxing and listening is such a fun way to take the phone and just throw it across the room. So this is your invitation to be present with me today. Of course, I know that a lot of things happen, so if you're not able to, but here are the benefits of today's techniques. So one, it's just a reset, meditation, self-awareness, helping us with stress resilience, and really improving our patience and tolerance. And then journaling is really about discovering your voice. Talk therapy or talking to people, we're using our vocals, we're tapping into a certain side of our brain where we're talking about things out loud. It's very similar to writing. When you're writing and you're looking at a piece of paper and the words are flowing and you're writing it, you're tapping into a totally different perspective. So you can really discover your voice this way. You can really gain new perspectives in your own psyche. And it can really help you release pent up thoughts and feelings that you just can't get clarity on for some reason. So those are going to be the benefits of today's session. So with that said, find a quiet place. Go ahead and turn off your camera if that feels inviting for you. And I'm going to play some music here. And we will get set for a nice little quick meditation. Take a big inhale through your nose. And exhale through your mouth. One more just like that. Inhale. And exhale. Start to feel your body really come into this calm and centered place. Start to feel the energy really dripping down. Feel, your bottom on the seat, this grounded feeling. For some of you, this might be your first session. For others, you might have had a couple under your belt, and really just allow yourself to sit in the growth that you've experienced today. Really allow yourself to feel like you can trust that whatever happens this week and next month, you are fully capable of handling it. Just sit with that for a second. When was the last time you told yourself that you are fully capable of handling anything that comes your way? A lot of times we get really wrapped up in the future, in what's next. Or sometimes we get wrapped up in the past. What I could have done better, what I should have done, what they did, what they should have done. And this is your reminder from the universe that something could happen. And you're going to be fine either way. No matter what happens, you're going to be fine either way. Because you are capable of handling it all. And even in those moments where we feel like we're falling, we feel like there's a lot on our plate, it's okay to experience emotions. It's okay when things aren't perfect. Take a big inhale through your nose. And exhale your fear. Inhale dignity. Exhale doubt. Inhale peace. Exhale scarcity. Place your right hand on your heart. Place your left hand on your belly. If your eyes are closed, just feel what it feels like to be internal right now. This internalized, safe space. This is your reminder that you can return to this exact space whenever your fears are creeping in, your doubts, the anxieties and pressures of life, anything that's trying to knock us down. You have your back. Deep, deep trust that everything is working out in your favor, even when it feels heavy. Deep, deep trust that you can handle anything that life throws your way. And deep, deep trust that every day you are closer and closer to this place of alignment and fulfillment. And I know this because you showed up in this room today. You're here to connect with yourself. You're here to learn a little bit more about you. So take one more big inhale together. And exhale. I want you to start imagining a light warming up your body and a light coming into the top of your head to empower your writing and empower your mindset for the rest of our session together. And you can open your eyes when that feels nourishing and inviting for you. Thank you so much, everyone. I hope the music was in a decent spot. So yes, now we are dropped into the space of writing and tapping into this side of you. And I'm super excited about this. So really quick, I'd love to hear in the chat, or if you feel, not like writing this in the chat, you can also write this in your journal. But rose, thorn, bud, this is also something that I really, encourage you to take into your own mindfulness practices. I know it's at the beginning of the week for all of us, so maybe we can do this last week, or if you want to even do the full month, what was something that felt like a rose, something that just felt yummy and nourishing for you. Maybe it was an event or something that took place, something that maybe felt like a thorn, something that just didn't sit well, or you're working through, maybe you're not getting good sleep, maybe, it's usually something that's out of our control that just doesn't feel great. And then a bud, what's something you're looking forward to this week or this month that's ahead of us, because we're pretty much right at the cusp. Yeah, and go ahead and either write in the chat if you feel comfortable. If you don't, you can go ahead and put it in your journal. But I will start off just to kick the, energy into the room. A rose for me, my best friend is having a baby in a month, and I got to spend the weekend with her putting together her little nursery, and we had a baby shower for her. And it's just really exciting. I also planned her and her husband's engagement, so I feel really close to this baby because I'm like, without me, they wouldn't have been engaged. No, I'm just kidding. A thorn. My cat is peeing in my apartment, and he never has before. So it's really frustrating. I'm actually taking him to the vet right after this because I'm like, I don't know if he's doing it for attention, if there's something else going on, but it just makes me worried about him a little bit. And then something I'm looking forward to, I'm turning 30 in March. So it's a big birthday. I'm really excited to be in my 30s. And me and my partner are going to Hawaii. He's in here. Thank you for the support, Daniel. And I'm really, really excited about that. So that kicks it off. It could be a lot bigger things, other things going on, but go ahead and either write to yourself or write to the room what your rose thorn bud is. Georgia said, rose, bike rides with friends. Yes. Thorn, realizing I had sent the wrong Zoom link out today. That happened to me too, at my last online event. So I get it. Zoom makes it tricky. But exciting projects on the horizon. Amazing. I love it. I'll give you guys like 30 more seconds here. Rose, great workout last week. Thorn, my partner traveling this week. That's always hard. Bud, my birthday next week. Yes, go birthday. Love it. Is there one more person who feels like sharing? If not, that's okay. Sometimes it's not nourishing for me to share either. So I totally get it. Well, no worries. I hope, like I said, this practice is really great for you to do even at the end of the week. I think it's just a mindfulness technique to see like, okay, what is feeling great? What isn't feeling the best? And, what's something I'm looking forward to, and also a really good like gratitude practice as well. So now I'd love to hear in the chat, and then don't worry, we will go into more of our writing. But just in terms of mindfulness, I would love to hear 1, 2, or 3. It can be a combination. It can be a couple different things, but which of these do you relate to? So 1, I find it difficult to focus on the present moment. I'm often thinking of the next thing I have to do. 2, I struggle with making mindfulness a consistent habit, and even just like journaling or any of these like mindfulness techniques and tools that, support mindfulness. And then 3, I've heard mindfulness can be impactful, but I'm in the beginning phases of learning more about it. So which of these do you relate to? 1, 2, or 3? We've got a 2, we've got a 1, and maybe 2. 1, 2. Yeah. So this just kind of grounds us all in, why do we even do this? And why could journaling be a tool for people? 1 and 2, Karrie said, nice name, by the way. So I think, one thing that we touch on, and Jaleel, he will be ending the day with mindfulness. But he's really helped me kind of tap into mindfulness and making it a consistent habit and everything. But the best way to capture moments is to pay attention. This is how we cultivate mindfulness. Mindfulness means being awake. It means knowing what you are doing. And personally, for me, I found journaling to, especially if we go back to journaling can help any one of these, right? So when you're finding it difficult to focus on the present moment, having journaling to like bring you into the present moment, right? Struggling to make mindfulness a consistent habit, even twice a week, journaling for 2 to 3 minutes, or maybe instead of, going to scroll on your way to on the bus or in an Uber, or when you're waiting for your prescription or whatever, instead of picking up social media, just going to your notes and just writing about how you're feeling. Or I've heard mindfulness can be impactful, but I'm in the beginning phases. Like for me, writing was like a really great tool. I found meditation to be really hard for me in the beginning, and writing for some reason was like noisy and I could like get the noise out, versus meditation for me in the beginning of my mindfulness journey was very much like I have to be quiet and I have to quiet these thoughts, and I was like I just need to get them out though. So all to say, I think writing can just be a super powerful tool to kind of awaken this present moment that we always talk about. And I love this image. There was actually another image, journaling to me is really making the implicit explicit. And what does this mean, right? We all have like these thoughts. I think it's like 40 to 60,000 thoughts that are just like filtering through our head every single day, all day. A lot of negative thoughts, a lot of things telling us we can't do things, self-doubt. Journaling helps us take this like fuzziness and make it this hard thing. You're physically looking at a hard thing that you're writing. So then you can return to it. And actually, I highly recommend having a practice where you're rereading your journals, because at least for me, it's usually a very emotional experience, going back and going, wow, like this is what I used to be stressed about. And like I got through that and now it's this new thing. So taking this like chaotic noise and making it this physical thing can really help us make the implicit explicit. So, one of my favorite things to do, actually, I teach journaling, I journal a lot, and believe it or not, I still go to Google and I go journal prompts for insert a feeling that I'm feeling. Because there are so many resources, and sometimes you just need that kickstart, right? You just need like somebody kind of holding your hand if you don't know what you're feeling or how to get to it, you know, like journal prompts for peace, journal prompts for disappointment, journal prompts for rejection, journal prompts for anxiety. Like you could literally pick any single word you're feeling here and go to Google and do that. And so when we're writing today, if that feels nourishing for you, you can absolutely do that. But I find that there's so many resources out there, and this kind of helps you target them to like what you're personally going through. So this is the feeling wheel. I'm sure if you haven't seen it, you can even search just feeling wheel on Google. I have this in a magnet on my refrigerator, and I return to it a lot. It just like kind of helps you know, like, what am I feeling? What on this am I, called to? So with that said, we've got about 18 minutes left. I'm going to go ahead and just play some music, and here are just some different journal prompts for you. If you have any questions, I'll be here. I'm going to journal too. And this is sort of kind of some of the pieces that different options you can do. So option one, we are at that turn of the month. I think it's really helpful, at the turn of the year, we always like come together and we're like, what are our goals and what's this? And if you can make it even just a monthly practice to do option one, I think you'll find that it's really, really powerful to just like take a moment, ground in yourself, and figure out, where did you feel tension and frustration with yourself this past month? When did you feel invigorated and alive? Describe what you were doing, who were you with, and what was on your mind. And then what would you like to shift or focus on this next month? And I always say no more than 2 items, because as people, we're like, well, I want to get better at this and this and this and this. And the next thing you know, you have a list of 10 things. And realistically, in a month, I do it too. It's hard to really narrow your focus. So, no more than 2 items is your challenge. Um, Option two is free writing. Maybe you're somebody in the room today, you're like, I just want to break free from routine. I'm sick of getting told exactly what to do in the workplace, how to do it, this, and this. I just want to like release something. You will be so surprised. As people, we are pattern seekers, right? So that's why sometimes we need the prompts. We need that like initiation start. I guarantee if you just put your pen to paper and say go, the next thing you know, you will have 5 pages of things. I promise you there is some pent up emotion happening. So don't think you need to have a prompt. And I love this quote: when we free write, we don't edit ourselves. We don't question any of the words that come through for us. Instead, we simply just write it all down. So option two is just opening your notebook or whatever tool you're using, clicking open your pen and letting yourself just tap into your stream of consciousness. And then option three is like anything from today. If you took notes from today, if a speaker really stood out to you, if there was something new that you want to implement into your life, anything that you want to do an even deeper reflection on from today, that 6 months from now, you could look back on and read and go, oh yeah, that was really impactful. I loved that. Almost like a little summary for yourself. That would be option three. So then we'll come back together at the end, and I'll allow space for people to have a little bit of a share circle if you want that. But otherwise we should end, right at 5:45, but take your time. I'm going to play some music. And like I said, I'll be here monitoring the chat if you have any questions or comments or anything. Cool. So have fun. Let's do this. Let's write. Okay, everyone. I hope you are enjoying the space to write. I know even for me, like, I haven't been able to write in about a month now. I haven't journaled. I just looked and I was like, wow. So I know sometimes we come out of these, summits and seminars and we have all these new things we want to try. And then next thing we know, we go right back into our day to days and the pressures and everything. And so I just want you to, realize that even just taking a little space for yourself and doing something a little different can really help. Um, does anyone have anything that they want to share from this exercise?
I can go ahead and go.
Yeah.
Actually took a lesson from the last talk with Georgia when she was talking about our set point and how do you know what your set point is? And I was like, how do I know? And I realized that I actually don't reflect a ton. I just keep going. So I use this writing time to reflect on all the things from the last year, to really feel in my body and appreciate, where am I really? How do I really know what my set point is? So it was a really helpful practice to write it all down. And I don't think I would have done that had you not set the time and the space to write right now.
I love that. No, that's amazing. I know it's hard to make the time sometimes, but then you do it and it feels so good. Um, where was there anything that like came out of that, kind of even looking at that, compared to you maybe talking to a friend, right? Like telling them about your set point later.
Mhm.
And if you have nothing that is glaring out on the page to you, but I love to get people thinking like, oh, me writing, I maybe found this thing, but me maybe talking about it to a friend or partner or whoever later, I maybe wouldn't have arrived at that destination had I not like written it. So kind of thinking through like the talking of it versus the writing.
Mhm. I think writing it and hearing the music in the background too brought me into a deeper connection of the sense of each reflection and each appreciation. So it was like I was writing to myself, and I was also then hearing at the same time what each reflection and appreciation was, and then I would feel it through my senses, and then I'd write the next one, and then I could feel. So it was like that inner
Mhm.
voice was telling me about it and I'd feel it through my sense.
I love that. Yeah, actually, on a similar note, when I first started writing, I chose the free writing option. And at first I was just writing like all the emotions I'm feeling right now. And then all of a sudden it turned into me like writing myself a letter. Like, you got this. And like kind of
Mm.
just, what would my higher power or my higher self like say to me in this moment? And so it's interesting that you kind of had a similar sort of experience in that way. Well,
Awesome.
thank you for sharing.
Yeah, thanks, Carrie.
Anyone else? Yes, Georgia.
I'm happy to share if there's no other participants, because I don't want to hog the limelight with participants of dying to share something. So please unmute or put your camera back on if you're wanting to share. Yeah, it was really interesting. So I've been journaling for probably 30 years, but the later on in my life it's got a little bit less. So like you looked at my journal and, oh, it's been December since I last journaled. Um, so I just started with free writing, but realized that I kind of finished with the free writing and thought, okay, I'm going to look at one of these prompts. And I went to the top prompt on the page. When did you feel tension, frustration with yourself in the past month? And I don't need to share with you what came up, but the interesting thing was around journaling, and what I love about this as a tool is, first of all, it helps highlight the things that we're pretending not to know.
Mm.
So I'm pretending not to know that this certain person or this certain situation is giving me
Mhm.
tension and frustration. But at the same time, we now highlight that with ourselves. We don't need to share it with anyone. And then if we was more time, I probably would have continued around a solution for that, how I might change that, how I might, what I can do differently. So journaling really does give us that different perspective that we all need, whether it be um, yeah, whether it be our work or our personal life. I think we underestimate the power of just spending time with ourselves and getting those stories, those things that we're pretending to avoid or pretending not to know. But we do know at a deep level that something's a bit icky.
Mhm.
Or something's really great as well. It could be the reverse of that. So thank you for the invitation. It was really powerful.
Oh, good. Yes, and thank you for sharing the reflection. Also very powerful. I love what you said about just how writing, it's like we almost we're talking about something that we're sort of avoiding and maybe our own psyche, and then we write about it and it almost forces us to like confront something. So that was really powerful reflection for me, because I think even looking at my journal entry, I see the same thing in that. So I love it. Okay, I feel like there's somebody in here who wants to say something and wants to use their voice. So I'm going to give it like 20 more seconds. I'm really good at holding the line here. So let's see who the brave one person will be.
Okay.
Yes, Kelly.
I'll say I got up and halfway through that thinking that I'd finished and started getting dressed and doing other things. And then I was like, oh man, I've got this other whole thing that I need to just like purge. So it was nice actually that there was a time limit, that because that was a lot longer than I would have given myself.
Mm.
So yeah, that was useful because it actually just, there was more stuff that was still percolating. So thank you.
Yeah, of course. Thank you for sharing, Shelley. Well, everyone, I hope you found maybe a new perspective or something. Thank you so much for having me. Um, if you'd like to keep in touch just with what Serving Sundays does, as you know, it was brought up at the beginning, we do a lot of different things and we're doing a lot more like free online events this year. Feel free to give us a follow. But other than that, thank you again so much for having me. Keep writing, keep getting your thoughts out on paper. And I'm really excited to pass it over to Jaleel, I think. My brother who invited me here. Fun fact, I think there's a little time still, but him and I work together in our day jobs, and I was his new hire buddy, and we've just worked together on so many fun things since then. And I love telling people that, because I'm like, I was his new hire buddy, but now I'm like, he's my older brother. So it's fun how you can just get connected with different people at different times. So what up, Jay? New dad number 2, not new dad, sorry. New girl dad. There we go.
That's true. That's true. Thanks so much, Karrie. Thanks for holding space for us today and letting us meditate together and write together, and letting us hear a little bit about what you do. I think that we have, I don't know that we'll have any questions because you just wrapped us all together so lovely. I'll open the floor. Does anybody have any final thoughts or questions for Karrie before we hand the microphone over to Jaleel or take a little break here? You wrapped it up. You put a nice little period at the end of it, and that was a beautiful session. So thanks so much, Karrie. let's just take a temperature check here. How we doing? We could roll right into Jaleel's presentation, or we could take a quick bio break. Does anybody have a preference of what direction we go?
Jaleel wants a bio break. Beautiful. Let's put some music on, then have a bio break, and then we'll so you can all stay on board while we have that break. You don't need to drop out and drop back in again. But yeah, let's take a quick break, and we'll see you back in. It'll probably be about 4 minutes. I don't know how long this next song goes for, so.
Perfect. See you in 4 minutes.
And thank you everyone for still holding on. I think some of you have been here all day, and I'm really impressed by that. So you deserve a bio break. Let's do it.